Hello everyone, welcome to my fashion point of view. Okay, so in today's video, we're going to learn how to transfer that around the basic bodies. But first of all, I would like to say a big thank you to our new subscribers. Thank you for joining us on here. And I see your comments, I see your suggestions. Thank you so very much. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, now, so that's are transferred around the bodies for many reasons and outcomes. I'll just mention a few. It could be to create a new design. It could be for the ease of sewing because some dart placements are easier to sew than others. And it can also be transferred based on the nature and design of the fabric. But before you transfer your darts, you will need to have a well-drafted basic body. So now if you don't know how to draft a basic bodies, I have left a link on the description box for you to check it out so you can follow us up on what we're doing. So kindly hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you for your support. So first, let's transfer our waist dart to the bust. So to transfer our waist dart intake to the bust means sewing the bust dart and concealing the waist dart. So first thing we want to do is slashing our waist dart on the midpoint like so. Okay, so this enables you to close the bust dart. So we'll close the bust dart temporarily. When you open this up, you will notice that this has created a midpoint line for you. So next thing you want to do is to cut through that midpoint line to the bust point. So after that is done, you close your waist dart temporarily. So you can watch how I'm cutting that piece out. So this will help me close. Okay, so you would notice the dart intake for the waist has been transferred to the bust. You can see the excess on the bust dart, so you tape that down. So the next thing you want to do is to place a piece of paper under the excess of the bust dart. So what this does is it helps you to transfer your pattern to fabric easily. So you can go for a different color of paper. So this will help you to know the exact excess of the bust dart. So now we're just going to tape this down to keep the paper in place. Okay, so remember we temporarily closed the waist dart. We're going to open that up and close the bust dart through the sides. So what this means is making sure that the sides of our pattern is aligned. So we're going to use our tracing wheel on that part. So this will help us to see all our dart markings and where our dart ends. So next we want to do is to permanently close the waist dart. So next thing we want to do is to highlight all our dart markings around the bust area. Notice that concealing our dart on the waist area has left us with a little bit of shortage on that part. So what we're going to do now is to take up a straight ruler and even that place out. So you can do this by going up on your side front by 1/2 inch or you just marked out on a straight line like you see me do. Going up by half inch just depends on the style of the dress that you're making. Okay, let's go ahead to cut our pattern. So the dart transfer process is mostly used for corporate dresses, for blouses and shirts and jackets as well, and it also maintains a good fit. Okay, so we're done with that. Let's move over to transferring our bust dart intake to the waist. So kindly hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you for your support. So transferring the bust dart intake to the waist is simply sewing your waist dart on the dress and concealing your bust dart. So first thing we want to do is to close our waist dart. So we're closing this without slashing any point. So our next step is to through that area. This is just making sure that it is aligned on that part. So like I said earlier, depending on what you're making, is either you're going up by half inch to connect to the center front, or you're just going, doing it on a straight line. Okay, so next step is to cut out the dart completely. So having done that, we're going to close our bust dart permanently. So the next we want to do is to place a sugar paper underneath that space like so. So you tape it down neatly so it doesn't move. So next thing we want to do is to use our tracing wheel to highlight that area so we can see our dot markings. You may not see the markings on the screen, but once you try yours, you can see it is very visible. So once you've done that, we're going to use a straight ruler to highlight all our dot markings. Okay, so now let's cut this out. Okay, so if you want to cut this on fabric, remember that you are not going to be sewing your dart to the bust apex, that is on your bust point. You're going to be coming down by 1 inch if you want to sew this on your fabric. So you're going to use your measuring tape. You come down on 1 inch on that line, and you use a straight ruler to form a new dart on the 1 inch mark. So this is where you're going to be stopping your darts. I mean your sewing, 1 inch from your bust point. So same thing applies on the bust dart as well. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned a thing or two. If you found any part of this tutorial helpful, kindly give us a thumbs up by liking this video and hit the subscribe button for more. Until our next tutorial, bye for now.